For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified Livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Brian Ream from Rooftops. I don't know why I keep wanting to put an S on things that don't need an S.
Yeah.
How's it going today, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. So originally, we were supposed to have you on last night, but Texas has crazy allergies, and I've been here about a year. I'm still not used to it. So yesterday I was just like, ugh, it sucks. But luckily we were able to get you pushed in for tonight, and I'm really excited to talk to you, man. So for the people that are just that are tuning in, that are just learning about you, getting to know you, what's kind of your background? Who are you? What got you into music? That sort of thing.
So I'm Brian. I've been playing music professionally for 5 or 6 years now, since I was 16. Just playing in bands and stuff. I play in a couple bands right now. My main project right now is Rooftops. I also play for another artist named Frankie Soleil, and she's also like an alternative rock kind of artist. And then I also play for a country artist named Jacob Lonis.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so where did you pick up music? Who introduced you to music originally?
I've always been surrounded by music, not musicians, but surrounded by music. Like my mom had me grow up on like the Beatles and stuff like that. So like that was a major influence growing up. And I started playing guitar when I was 10, and have very much been playing ever since.
Awesome. And so you grew up in Cleveland. Actually, we had a band, their lead singer was from Cleveland a couple days ago. Which is cool. Kind of interesting. I went from not ever having anybody from Cleveland on the podcast to 2 in a week. That's funny and kind of interesting. So where are you at now? Are you still in Cleveland or are you in?
No, I've been in Columbus moved here in 2006. So for a while now, most of my life. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so you're just kind of working between a few different bands, but Rooftops is kind of your project, correct?
Yeah. Rooftops is my project. It's only really been a thing now since November.
Mm-hmm.
But just
the fact that it's only been a thing from November, and you dropped 2 singles already, and you got a third one on the way. Like, I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So Rooftops has been my main thing right now, just because with shows not really being able to happen, just writing and recording that stuff. And I'm hoping with the country band that I'm in, we were in Ohio, they're letting bar gigs happen, and that's the majority of the stuff with that. So like we were doing shows post shutdown. But he actually just had a baby like 3 months ago, I think. So that's kind of taken a little hit, but I'm hopefully we're going to be getting back to that in the next coming months.
Yeah. Has there been any shows happening at all, or are you guys what's kind of the feel and vibe in Ohio at this moment?
I think, there was outdoor shows starting to happen, kind of like all separate and stuff, but then there's one venue here in Columbus that has been doing just like low capacity shows, but they're like a 500 or 600 person venue.
Okay.
And I think it's like weeknight stuff to begin with, so it's not anything crazy. And other than that, I think one original band that was like, those are like DJ sets, and I've only seen one set done by an original band that was like inside in a venue with limited capacity, of course.
Yeah, of course.
That same band is about to do another show. But I think right now, really, it's not, it's partially the venues, but it's the the promoters that aren't doing the shows.
Gotcha.
So, and some of the venues here in Columbus are owned by the promoters. Like one venue that I've played a lot at, like the only shows that happen at that venue are done by this one promoter because the promoter owns the venue.
Oh wow. Gotcha.
So yeah, so it's kind of like almost like a venue by venue situation. If they're willing to almost, I guess, take the risk to having a show there or not, and if they're going to get backlash or not, I don't know.
Gotcha. So Rooftops has been together since about November. What's the current makeup of the band right now?
Well, technically it's just me. So I like on the recordings, I do everything other than drums. Drums is done by a buddy of mine, Mark. He is going to be playing with me live also. Possibly join the band later on. It's just kind of roll with the punches with that.
Gotcha. So basically the whole plan is for it to be a solo thing until shows start happening, and then you'll kind of figure out the actual configuration of everything.
Yeah, the original plan was for it to be a duo, but then it went down to solo, but then hopefully in the future it will be duo.
Gotcha. So like a 21 Pilots type of thing going on, or
kind of a just different genre.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool. So like we had mentioned already and talked about, you released a new single back in December. Well, technically you've released two singles, December, November. What's kind of went into the process of selecting these two songs that you led off with for Rooftops?
Well, so these first two songs and the song that's about to be released on the 29th, these three songs I wasn't planning on starting a band or anything like that. I wrote all three of these songs in a week time span. I wrote them. I was like, well, if I'm writing these songs and they're turning out somewhat decent, to just start a project with it and just kind of see where it goes. It was never really my intention to start a band, but these three songs all kind of talk about major moments in my life that happened in this past year. Mostly with losing a couple friendships and stuff like that. And but yeah, so it was never really, I didn't like actively seek out starting a band or anything like that. It just kind of happened. And I told myself, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to kind of go like all in with it. So like I hired I hired a marketing person to help me with the first release and all that. And
because, I was just because you know how Spotify will give you roughly how many plays that the songs have. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, for this being your first two songs, these are numbers that people that are like two albums deep are still
so I know it's really unexpected. Like I've learned a lot. Like I learned a lot from working with the marketing person, but also I had a bunch of experience with releasing music with my high school band, and then with Frankie, like I'm part of all like releasing all the music for that. So I've learned for multiple years now what to do and what not to do, and I think now I've like finally figured it out, and just like with advertisements on Instagram and Facebook and reaching out to playlist owners and all that. And that's really the big thing, because like right now, other than the US, of course, like my second biggest country is Israel. Never done advertising in Israel. I think it's all just because of this one playlist I got put onto,
Nice.
and I have like 500 listeners there or something like that.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And it's all about playlist placement. Like where's the playlist based out of? Who's their listening fan base? So that makes perfect sense,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because I know for like the podcast, I got listed on one playlist, and now, or at least for 2020, like 35% of our listenership came from France, which was really
Mm,
interesting. I'd never
yeah.
promoted anything in France, and so yeah.
Yeah. No, I think one of the playlists I got onto is based out of England. And it's like
Mhm.
right now my biggest city is London.
Nice.
And yeah, so what I need to do is I need to find some more playlists in the US.
I got you.
Just because like right now I'm almost bigger outside the US than in the US, and it's like I haven't even played a show yet.
Yeah, I got you. Well, to help even that out, like I don't know how much of a US audience we have on our Spotify playlist, but I did add your song. I did add what song did I put on? Queen City. There it is.
Awesome. Thank you.
I put Queen City on our playlist. We're still growing it. It's one of those things where it's just like, what's something that we can do to help bands and musicians make money? I was like, oh, let's start a playlist, because it's like literally I just got to update it once a month and we're
Yeah.
good, you know?
Yeah. Thank you for that.
So hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps broaden your US listenership. But
Yeah.
like yourself, like, I mean, yeah, we have a following in the US, but our following is much stronger in the UK and Australia. So,
Yeah.
but
So hey, the listener's a listener. I don't care where you are.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So for these two songs, and then the third one that's dropping, um so it's Queen City and Falling are the two songs that are out now, just for clarification, and we're not
Yeah.
calling it this song and that song. uh,
Yeah.
is the hope, and like, I mean, obviously since everything's still kind of new and sporadic, are you looking at just staying doing the singles, or do you have hopes and aspirations of like a full body of work, like an EP, LP? What's kind of the plan?
Possibly. It's really the thing of I want to kind of stay consistent with releasing stuff. So, and because I just don't want to release a couple songs and wait 5 months or 6 months, however long it will take to write, record, all that, a bunch of new material. I've the plan. So the plan right now is just to do singles. I have a couple other songs I'm writing right now that are also planned to be singles.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about maybe if like for the sake of people wanting to buy a CD still, if they want to do that for live shows, like have like an EP or an album
Yeah,
with all the songs on it, but just not release it on Spotify or anything like that. Just
yeah,
like something like exclusive for live shows.
yeah. And actually, that kind of speaks to a theory that I've come up with of using Spotify to promote singles, but not give away your albums, because that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of essentially what you're doing. And like, since albums work better anyways at shows, when you're playing live shows, it's like, okay, you can use your lead singles to promote on Spotify, grab their attention. It's like, oh, I like these two songs. I want to hear what else he's got, and
Yeah, that could be interesting. I never thought about that.
yeah,
Huh.
it's just one of those things where, because somebody asked me about a month or so ago, how do they make how do musicians make money these days? And I had to really sit down and think about it. It's like, unless you're just got your hands in so many different pots, it's really
Yeah,
hard to make money, or unless you're getting millions and millions of views,
exactly. Yeah, it's just ticket sales and merchandise sales are the biggest things. And then I'd say it's 80% tickets and merchandise sales and 20% streaming
Yeah,
is like
absolutely.
the income for musicians.
Yeah. Well, and like the one thing that people are neglecting, and I didn't know it until we started working on this radio project. I was talking to my sound engineer, Jeff, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I'm surprised that musicians aren't pushing to get on radio more, because like the royalty payout is 20 times better than, like, so one song plays on the radio, you get paid out 20 times better than you would by one stream on Spotify. And it's like, okay, well, let's look into that and use that as our sales pitch or
Yeah.
whatever.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't know the payout for like the radio was that high.
Yeah. It's
I think
it also, like, because I do a morning AMA thing, so people submit questions and whatnot, and actually the question
mhm.
this morning was about radio royalty payout, and I had to do some research because I was like, well, how do they figure what it is? And it takes into consideration like what time of day the song was played, if it's a high traffic day, what
Mhm.
market you're in. So like in Montana, you're probably not going to get paid as much as you would in like New York or something, but still,
Yeah.
you know, so it takes into consideration a bunch of different things, but like
Hmm.
at least at least there's something there, and it's not all.
Yeah. Every dollar counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
It's
I think I was gonna say I think a big thing with people not pushing to get on radio is, personally, the only time I listen to radio is when I'm at work, only because I can't have Spotify.
uh,
So that's why I don't know many people that listen to the radio.
yeah. Well, and I think that's just a matter of the radio needing to evolve and figure out how to adapt to the mobile environment. And I think that's where
Yeah.
like people like, or companies like iHeart and stuff like that that have like the mobile app that can compete with Spotify. I think
Yeah.
that's where their play is and needs to be,
Yeah.
because
I think
I don't see Spotify being an audio platform for very much longer. But
I don't think so.
that's
Hmm.
I think they're getting ready to move into like videos. Like if you notice
Uh,
that they're like, even with like
yeah.
the Joe Rogan thing, I think they're getting ready to move into video. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Um yeah. What was I gonna say? Um I totally lost my train of thought.
oh, you're good. But yeah, no, like, so radio is really interesting right now, and I'm really intrigued to see how our new radio program helps our brand and helps independent musicians. And I
Yeah.
will definitely be bringing Queen City to the table next when we do our next batch of recordings. So I'm excited
Awesome.
to see how
Thank you.
people react. Um, so you're still kind of formulating how you're going to navigate with Rooftops and what the ultimate goal with the band is. Um, what is, like, with it being do you find it hard to promote music for a band that nobody's ever heard play live?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes and no,
Okay.
because there's so much done, like there's so much marketing when it comes to like Instagram and Facebook and all that. It's really easy to push it out to a lot of people,
Mhm.
but I think to gain a bigger audience, or to gain a more connected audience,
Mhm.
to see that live show played, to meet them in person, I think it's easier to grow a more dedicated fan base from live shows.
I
Like you can get the numbers on Spotify, but it's like, okay, are those people going to come back? Are they going to share you with their friends? And I think that's easier to get that connection with people in a live setting.
Yeah. And I think it's just creating that authentic connection is easier in person, and that's what keeps bringing people back, where it's like, yo, I saw them at the kitchen spot. Like, I don't know, I'm making
Yeah,
things up,
yeah.
like whatever local venue. And afterwards, I got to talk to Brian, and we talked about how we thought the we didn't expect the Cleveland Browns to be in the playoff, like whatever it was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like just creating that connection is what will keep bringing bands back. And, being that we're in a pandemic and you can't really do that, it's like you got to find new ways to create those connections.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've been trying to do stuff like that, like on Instagram. I incentivize like if you pre-save our song and like share it and stuff. I started a close friend story.
mhm.
So there I'm doing like, yeah, I'm posting stuff on like the regular stories, but like I've been doing more behind the scenes stuff on there. Uh like I don't know if you saw, but I recorded myself playing Queen City in the shower.
I didn't
Uh
see this.
you didn't? Okay. I don't know why. I was like posting about it the night before while I was like recording it and stuff like
Okay.
that. So it's like finding out about stuff beforehand, and also just more behind the scenes stuff like that and stuff in the studio. And
Yeah, that's cool. That's really like yeah, that's really cool. Was gonna say something really weird, but I'm gonna hold myself back. So yeah, like I mean, that's all important, and I think that's like the great thing about Instagram is you can do stuff like that and put out stories. And I'm starting to think we haven't even seen the full capabilities of what Instagram can bring to the music business. So it's going to be really interesting. Um,
mhm.
so, but so you got for this new song, have you officially announced a release date or any information on it yet? Or
Yeah, so it's coming out the 29th, so
okay.
in 2 weeks from now. It's available for pre-save now on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon. And the link for that is in the Rooftops bios and stuff like that on Instagram. I realized while we were starting this that I haven't posted about it on Facebook yet, so I'm going to do that after we're done. But yeah, the link will be on our Facebook page and all that. And
Gotcha. And now that I actually looked at, because usually I only go to Instagram to see just like funny pictures or whatever, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
it's sitting right there. That just shows me I
yeah,
need to stop using Facebook as my main source of research. How about that?
yeah. No, I've like Facebook is a good platform to have, but my main focus when it comes to social media is Instagram. I think it's easier to connect with people on there and to grow an audience, especially in the demographic that Rooftop should be in.
Yeah. And actually, funny story. If you like Instagram, I'm not even trying to push TikTok that hard. Like every once in a while I'll throw up a video, but
Hmm.
just like the natural growth on TikTok right now is really interesting. Like
Yeah.
just throwing out like this interview. I will find one just random clip, throw it up on
Hmm.
TikTok, and like I mean, we're not talking crazy
Yeah. Yeah.
numbers, but like 400, 500 views. Like that's not
Yeah.
terrible. So
No, yeah, totally. I've actually been meaning to start a Rooftops TikTok because um I've seen a lot of people get lots of traction on there, like for bands and stuff like that. My friend actually made a TikTok about me, and it like got pretty viral. I think it's around like 500,000 views or something like that.
oh wow.
Um, a couple months ago, my car got stolen,
Okay.
and when we got it, and he took me to go pick it up from the cops found it, and uh, he took me to go pick it up, and when I got it, it was just filled with a bunch of stuff, so much, a bunch of random stuff. Like we found a phone in there. There was a lawnmower in the trunk. Like, but he took a video of me like going through all this stuff and like my like first reaction to seeing everything, and it was like a 3 or 4 part series or whatever, and like the first one got like 450 to 500,000 views. The second one got like 100,000 views.
Wow.
It,
That's
it was crazy. Yeah.
yeah. It's like what was the weirdest thing you found in there in your car when you
Oh, definitely the lawnmower.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, like the last thing I expected, like my golf clubs were in the trunk
Mm.
and those got taken. But the last thing I was expecting was to open up and find a lawnmower. Uh, we found a phone in there. And I got it back to the person that same day, which was pretty cool. Uh, there's a bunch of stolen stuff. There's money from Europe. There's money from Dubai.
Okay.
There was money from
So
England.
obviously, whoever the person was that stole it was very well traveled.
I guess so.
Or
I don't
something.
know. Yeah, we found lottery tickets in there. There's a bunch of stuff, clothes, like brand new shoes that were probably stolen, and
It becomes that one thing. It's like, okay, so do we take this stuff and try and sell it, or what do we do with this? You know?
yeah, I did contact the police to come pick it up just because I didn't want to get caught in anything with
Yeah.
with stolen
Yeah.
property or anything like that. But someone commented on that TikTok. They're like, those boots that are in the front seat, they were Timberland Supreme collab boots, which I
Okay.
didn't know, and they're worth like $500 or $600 or something like that.
Oh wow.
I was like, well, I wish I knew about that because then those boots would have been mine.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, but it's really one of those things where if you would have tried to keep them or sell them, you'd have probably gotten fingered and caught. And
Yeah, I just didn't want to risk it with anything. It's like I'm lucky enough to get my car back and it wasn't damaged or
okay,
anything.
that was going to be my next question: was the car damaged?
No, yeah, it other than it smelled like cigarettes on the inside and stuff, but other than that, I cleaned it out and
It was
it was
good.
perfectly fine. Yeah.
You thinking about turning that one into a song?
I I don't know. I if I were, it would have to come like naturally. I couldn't force anything like that. Like my friend was joking, like 21 Pilots, they have the song Car Radio. And like he talks about how his car radio got stolen. He was like, dude, you just had you lost your whole car. Like you got a whole car to talk about now.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of experiences off of that one.
Yeah.
You're good. Um,
Yeah.
so I jokingly brought up the Cleveland Browns, but are you a Cleveland Browns fan? Or do you watch football?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I being from Cleveland, I'm legally obligated to be a Browns fan, but this year I'm actually happy about it.
Yeah. It's what, well, I mean, it, I always remember like just how bad they always were. And then there was like a couple of years where they started growing and you thought they were going to be really good. And then was it
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel or whatever? It is just like, okay, cool, cool. And then it's like, nope. And then this year it's just like, man, good for them.
It
I'm glad.
dude, it's insane. I was watching the game last week over at my buddy's house and his whole family are Steelers fans.
Yeah.
And it was the best night of my life
Nice.
watching that game.
Nice. I mean, you've got to be a real fan of football to be a Cleveland Browns fan. Like you just got to
Yeah.
love the game because I'm sure there
Yeah.
were some I'm sure there were some times where it's like, what are we doing here? Like during the what was it, 3 seasons where you guys only won like 2 games or something?
Yeah, and then there's the 1 year of 0-16 and
Yeah.
it was not fun. And fortunately every Browns game that I've been to they've won.
Nice.
So I think that means I just have to go to every game.
You got to get yourself season tickets.
Yeah, I know. My family used to, or my aunt and that side of the family used to have season tickets, but once they got like really bad, they got rid of them. And I bet they wish they had them now. Well, I guess maybe not now just because COVID, but yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm happy for, like I'm glad the is Odell Beckham Jr. still on the team or is he not?
I think he's still on the team. He's just not. I think he got released for the rest of the season or something. Probably, I think it was an injury. It's like I'm a fan of them, but it's like I don't like keep up to date with every single thing that happens.
Good.
But
gotcha.
But yeah, they're doing great.
Yeah, and I mean, who do they got tomorrow?
The Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
We'll see how that one goes.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted.
Already giving up? Like, I mean, I had to
No,
watch my I had to watch
I
my Bears just like not show up last week, and it's like,
yeah. No, I know I can't give up. Like, there's so many crazy things that have happened this year. Like, you never know.
yeah. Like,
But statistically, like,
I mean, it's Kansas City, the defending champs, and you just don't know.
but like beating the Steelers was a big upset. Imagine that upset.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I was
Like,
because I remember I didn't watch the game, but afterwards I went and looked at the like the stats and whatnot, and I'm like looking at Ben Roethlisberger's stats, and I'm like, he threw for 500 yards with 4 touchdowns, and then he had like 4 interceptions, and I'm like, did Ben Roethlisberger keep them in the game, but still lose it for him at the same time, or like what happened
yeah,
here? Like that was
well, it was all. I think the biggest thing was the first quarter. Like, there's the Browns got 4 touchdowns in the first quarter. And I think that really affected them. And
yeah, I gotcha. Not
yeah,
to turn this into the football podcast, but
yeah,
I was just sitting there. I was like, Cleveland in the playoffs. We got to touch on it,
yeah.
So, but so you got a new single dropping at the end of the month. What's kind of going through your mind right now as you prepare for the release of the newest single?
Really, just pushing it to people that I know personally and getting their friends to pre-save it and all that. But yeah, just really pushing that pre-save, and then like a week out, do paid advertisement
Mm,
on Instagram, and to
nice.
try to get more of that audience. Um,
Do you have
but
any
yeah,
do you have any plans of doing like visual components with these, like music videos, or is it just kind of doing the music thing right now?
I've wanted to do music videos. I've had plans. Like, the first song we talked about doing a music video, but it never really worked out.
Mm-hmm.
For Queen City, I have a music video idea. It's just getting it to all work out. Like, I want to go and rent this one Airbnb in Cincinnati, but just trying to figure out, okay, are we actually gonna have to rent that Airbnb, or can we like rent it for half the price if we're only gonna be there during the day? Um,
Like usually just talk to the people in the like I mean the one thing that I learned is it's all depending on the person because like the first time I went to Nashville, we did a
mhm.
bunch of acoustic sessions, and I was like, well, I'll just get an Airbnb, I'll rent it for 2 days, and we'll do the setup and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I told them what I wanted to do, and they were cool with it. And I was so the
Mhm.
next time I went to Nashville, I pretty much did the same thing, except I went to it. I was going to go to a different Airbnb because the one that I had originally went to, they started getting a little in themselves and jacked up the prices on me. And I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I went to this other guy. He had a really cool like camper deal that was out in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
And, just like it would have been a really cool aesthetic. And he was like, yeah, it's 200 for each night you want to be there. Plus, I'm going to charge you an extra 500 a day to shoot there. And
Jeez.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You really want to go there? And
Yeah.
so then,
That's ridiculous.
yeah. And so it was
I
one of those things.
I feel like that would be more common for something like Nashville, just because there is so much stuff with entertainment. Like, it's probably the same with LA and all that.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I get it, but yeah, it's like if you want to charge me $500 for like just the night, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But like you're gonna charge me to stay there at night, plus you're gonna tack on an extra fee. No, get out of here. Yeah,
Yeah. I think they're seeing it as like, oh, you're monetizing off of their
yeah,
property or whatever.
yeah,
So that's the only reason why I think people would want to do that. Or
yeah. I gotcha. So you're working out the logistics of a music video for Queen City, and hopefully that'll all work
hope,
out.
yeah, hopefully.
Gotcha. And do you have any thoughts about for the new single? I want to know.
Yeah, I've thought about a couple things. It's it's a simple song.
Hmm.
It's like a indie folk song, which is different than all the other stuff,
Yep.
but I guess that shows the range of my songwriting ability, I guess. Um which is interesting, but yeah, I think with it being a simpler song like that, it can be a simpler music video. It doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping at some point, like I've my like best friend, he's going to school for film, so him and I are always like bouncing ideas for like music videos off each other, and hopefully one day we'll just like figure out something and just go out and shoot it and hopefully get it done within the day.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those are always the best music videos, like the simple ones. You go do it, come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. So outside of music, what's kind of your thing? What do you do outside of music?
Really just hanging out with friends. Music consumes majority of my life. Like I have a day job too, but it's like when I'm not working there, I'm either here working on rooftop stuff or just I also do like recording and all that in my
Hmm.
studio here. So I'm either dealing with rooftops, that, or any other music project that I'm
Yeah.
working on or
Yeah.
a part of, which hopefully that doesn't lead me to a major burnout, but I've been doing pretty good recently. So
Yeah. Yeah. You got to kind of find your medium and know, like, hey, I need to take this week off, and don't be afraid to just go and cancel everything for that week when you
yeah.
need, because that's one thing I had to learn the hard way, like really learn the hard way. So,
Yeah, my big thing is making sure to take time or making sure to spend time with friends and just getting out of the house.
mhm.
Um, and I try not to do other than shows, of course. But like anything like recording like that,
Mhm.
I try to focus towards the weekday just so
Mhm.
I can have my weekends and still live somewhat of a normal life. But sometimes it doesn't always work out like that.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Just have if working with other people's schedules and stuff.
Gotcha, gotcha. What's your day job, if you don't mind me asking?
I drive a forklift
Okay.
at a in a warehouse. Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to say like what company it's
Yeah,
for,
I
but
gotcha.
it's
I won't
yeah,
put.
but
I gotcha. That's cool.
yeah,
At least it's something different outside of the music business, and it's not 100% music all the time, where you're
yeah,
just constantly doing different things. So,
yeah. It's nice, but also like I would quit that job in a heartbeat. Like to do music full time,
yeah.
it's just the consistency right now just isn't there.
Well, at least I guess the better way to phrase what I was getting at was, at least you're not putting all your creative energy on somebody else's profit margins.
Yes, yeah,
So,
yeah,
and it kind of gives you a minute, even though it's like a very physically intense job, you're still able to turn that part of you, that creative part of your brain off. So,
yeah. Well, even then, like there's been some songs that I've come up with that I write in my head
hmm.
while I'm driving the forklift just because it's so monotonous sometimes. So it's like I'll get something stuck in my head and I'll have to sing it. And we don't have our phones in the warehouse. So
Yeah,
I'll have to sing it to myself for like, I think the longest I've gone is like an hour and a half, just looping the same thing in my head just so I won't forget. So then I can go out to my car on break to then record it into my phone
that
just to
that's what
keep that idea.
that's when you keep a nice little pen and pad in your pocket and just.
Yeah, well, yeah, I do that with words. I write stuff down on post-it notes all the time, but it's melodies.
Uh-huh.
That's the big thing is being able to remember the melody.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's
Yeah.
funny. That's still, I guess that kind of answers my next question about your creative process and what kind of writer are you? Do you find during COVID you've been a lot more structured with your writing? Like, are you the type of writer that, okay, I'm only free from 7 to 11 tonight. That's when I can be creative, or are you more
Mm,
freelance with it? What's kind of your style?
it kind of just hits me whenever
Mm.
like I can't just sit down and write something. Um if I have an idea already started, I can build off that pretty easily. But if I'm like trying to just sit there, a lot of it starts with just messing around on the guitar,
Mhm.
or if I find something cool with like a synth or something. But really, it's like a lot of the writing happens at like 1 or 2 in the morning, where
Gotcha.
I'm just sitting there messing around and something hits me.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if I was going to ask you this question, but somebody asked in the chat, what's up with the moon, the phases of the moons behind you? Is that
Oh, that's just a tapestry. I put there's a moving blanket behind it
okay?
to help with like sound,
Gotcha.
to help with sound and all of that. So
So
it's
it's
just something
just
to
kind
cover
of
that
a
up.
room dampener to dampen the room.
Yeah. Just with that whole wall, big flat surface with the monitors and stuff. I want to get some sort of like diffuser or something to put back there at some
Yeah.
point. It's just it's not really necessary and they're expensive.
Yeah, I gotcha. It's I you know do what you can with what you
Yeah,
got, pretty
yeah.
much essentially. Um, so obviously pandemic going on, we don't really have any shows on the foreseeable horizon. Have you been experimenting or doing any of like the virtual shows, or has that not really been a thing for you?
I have with another project and with Rooftops, we did a battle of the bands at Ohio University with their radio station,
Mhm.
where we played and they like filmed it, but I wouldn't consider that like a live stream thing. And we just did that one to get our name down there in OU, but also for to start a good relationship with the radio station because they put on shows down there.
Oh, well.
Um, but no, I told myself from the beginning, even if it takes up to a year, don't want to do I don't want to do a live stream show only because live music is such a big important part of my life, either playing or even from the production standpoint. Like even
Mhm.
before the pandemic, I worked for a production company. I was working with a lot of cool bands doing that. And it's just live music is so important and being able to connect with the audience. I
Yeah,
didn't want that first experience to be through a screen.
yeah, and run the risk of the sound not being exactly what you wanted, or depending. Like, I mean, the fact that you
Yeah.
have um like knowledge on how to set it all up, that's a huge step, but that doesn't mean the person on the other side has
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
they need to make it sound as great as it can.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just with live music being such a big part of my life and important to me, I'm willing to wait. Also, finished songs wise, I don't have enough songs to do an entire set yet. So that's another reason why.
Yeah, I mean, 3 songs is only going to get you so far, right?
Yeah.
Unless you go into the cover song realm, which
Yeah, and
yeah,
nah, I don't really want to do
yeah.
that.
That's always kind of been the interesting conversation I've had with people is how somebody a while back asked me how they go out and do live shows when they've only got 2 songs in their pocket. It's like, well, either get really good at making things up or just go do open mics until you got 10
Yeah,
songs or whatever it is. So
that's pretty much it because the at least in Columbus, the promoters don't like it. Like if you do one cover song, that's fine, but the promoters really don't like it if you're doing cover songs. At,
okay,
at least here, at least here, yeah.
as the primary source of
Yeah, like yeah, if you were to show up and play like all cover songs, like you would not work with that promoter again.
really, that's interesting. Because usually like bars and stuff prefer the cover songs because it's stuff people knows or know.
Yeah. Um
But if everything's being ran by the promoters in Columbus,
yeah, it's not the bar. Like in the country band that I'm playing, we play 3 hour sets. So yes, we do play cover songs. We play
yeah,
like 45 songs. But no, when it comes to original music, it's all pretty much all original.
gotcha. That's cool. It's just kind of fun finding the feel and
Mm-hmm.
doing your thing.
Yeah.
Um, well, where's one place that you'd really like to play that you haven't yet? And it could be
In
like any in general, anywhere, not necessarily in Columbus
okay.
or yeah.
Yeah, in Columbus, like venues wise, there's a venue called the Newport
Hmm.
Music Hall. It's the longest running rock club in the US, I'm pretty sure. It's on Ohio State's campus, and like the Foo Fighters have played there, Tom Petty, like literally everyone has played there. That's a really cool venue. But like I've done one tour before. So I've played in Chicago, I've played in a couple areas of Michigan, I've played in Indiana, all over Ohio. Um I've played in Pittsburgh before. But really just to like really travel somewhere,
Yeah.
like to the other side of the country, and to be able to like perform in front of a crowd of people, that would be crazy. Like New York or LA or somewhere in Florida or Texas or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And it almost doesn't even matter like with which project, just getting out there.
Yeah, just yeah, because that's a big thing. Is like my main focus when it comes to music. It's not the recording side. It's just playing live. Like I've always wanted to be like a hired gun musician to like go play for an artist.
Hmm.
Um,
And just go
just
on,
because
just jump on random people's tours as like a
it,
guitarist or yeah.
exactly, yeah. Just because I love traveling, and music hopefully will someday give me that opportunity to like really like travel the country or the world
Hmm.
playing music and getting paid to travel.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to. I want to be respectful of your time, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time tonight.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
tonight. Yeah, tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, wait, it's dark out, but it doesn't feel like it's night. But I don't even know. Like the whole concept of time is just
Yeah.
not here anymore. It's like because where I live, like I live down in a dry riverbed, so I don't get that much
Hmm.
sunlight down here anyways. So it'll be like
Yeah.
midday, and unless I got my windows like wide open, it's like, oh, it pretty much stays the same brightness. So
Yeah.
it's
No,
it
I
it's
one thing I learned recently, which really bothers me, and this involves times, Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time. So
yeah,
like, how does that work? What time is it there?
it's
I
so what happens is right now they are in the mountain time zone.
Yeah. So they're
So
already an
so
hour
they're
behind you.
they're an hour behind me. And then during summertime, that time they are in technically in Pacific Standard Time, but it's like their own thing. It's like it's Pacific Standard Time, but it's Arizona.
That's so
So,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, I
just
mean, there's parts of Indiana that do that. Like they
well,
don't.
yeah, I know they like it's not on the border. It's like it kind of goes around it, but I think it's because like we're people are like working has a lot to do with it. But it's like that would be awful to live on a border of a time zone
Yeah,
or
it's
like a
one of
state
those.
border like that.
Yeah. Well, and like I mean, when I was living in Florida, I was essentially like 30 minutes from the central time because we were still in Eastern
Yeah.
time zone. I lived in Tallahassee and like the central time zone border was 30, 45 minutes to the west.
Hmm.
And so if we ever had to go out that way, we had to take that into consideration. It's like, wait, what time zone? What time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it helped in a lot of cases because it was like an be like going out there it helped, but
Hmm.
you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, dang, okay. So
Yeah.
it is tough, but I'm sure like because my sister lives in Indiana and she's right on the time zone. So,
Hmm.
but she makes it work. So who knows?
Yeah. It's a different way of life,
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know.
that is a fact. That is a
Yeah.
um. But I like from what I understand is if it's one of those deals where they live in one time zone, but they like let's say they work in the other time zone, all their house
Hmm.
clocks are set to their work time, which is kind of funny and interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh,
Dude, props to anyone who lives like that. That's just good
that's
for you.
right. Her very much, yes.
Yeah.
So how's what's the scene kind of like in Columbus? Well, what's the music scene like?
Dude, the music scene here is really good.
Uh-huh.
There's so much good music in Columbus. Like, cause you, of course, you have like 21 Pilots who've come out of Columbus. I don't know
Oh,
how
so
familiar.
I didn't know they came out of Columbus. So when I said that, you're like, "Oh man, fuck."
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I
No, you're good,
legit, I just threw them
dude.
out there because I was like, "Oh, kind of like
Yeah.
that." And then now it's like they're from Columbus. It's like,
Yeah.
dang it.
No, yeah.
Okay, so I apologize about that.
Oh, you're good. So there's 21 Pilots. I don't know how familiar you are with like the heavier scene, but like Beartooth is from
Okay,
Columbus.
nice,
Starset is from Columbus. If you want to go way back, Attack Attack is from Columbus.
nice.
Walk the Moon, half of those dudes are from Cincinnati, half of them are from Columbus.
Nice.
And those are just like the nationally known bands. And then like in the Columbus scene, like there's bands like Vespertine, he's really good. An older band that's not around anymore is House of Heroes. They were fantastic.
Oh, yes, they were. Okay.
Yeah, you know
So
House of Heroes?
I know House of Heroes because when I first started doing live and amplified, like that first year we were doing, we started out in Roswell, New Mexico.
Okay.
Because I was sitting there, I was trying to figure when you started talking about independent bands, I was like, what the fuck was the name of that band? And you said it, it's like it's House of Heroes.
Yeah.
So so basically we were like kind of stuck in New Mexico and West Texas. We couldn't kind of break out. And so I
Mhm.
started just joining random Facebook groups of different music scenes. And we started getting some traction in like Montana and a couple areas, and then
Mhm.
Columbus was one of the places, and it was House of Heroes and a couple of other bands that reached was like, yeah, whenever you can make it out here, we'd love to do something. And
Yeah.
now they're not together anymore. So
Yeah, I know. Which is a bummer because their music is so good. But yeah, Vespertine is the drummer of House of Heroes, Colin. That's
mhm.
his like new project that he's been doing.
Nice.
There's another good band from Columbus that's been around for the past couple years called Last Youth.
Uh-huh.
Um, his name is Josiah. He's doing some really cool stuff. Um, kind of more of like a regionally known band. You know, they're called the Lonely Ones now, but they were called Bobaflex.
Oh, I'm not familiar with them.
Okay, yeah, they're it's like really like rock and stuff like that. But so yeah, they're also from Columbus. But yeah, dude, there's just so much good music. And then there's like I could name a million local bands, but
Yeah.
those are like the ones that are like kind
Oh
of like
wait,
in the
no, the band I was thinking of is Heroes Like Villains.
oh
Yeah, that was the band.
okay
Yeah.
okay I don't think I've heard of them, but
They're from Columbus as well. So
okay
I knew I had the city right. The
yeah
Heroes thing kind of threw me
it
off because
it was the Heroes, yeah.
yeah. No, that's really cool though. And it's funny because when I look back at my life, I realize how close I became to moving. Like, because my dad used to work in Dayton. He
Hmm.
worked for an air freight company,
Okay.
and I was like, I look at it and I'm like, had he stayed there like another year or two, instead of my parents moving to Florida, I'm sure they would end up moving to Dayton. Like,
Hmm.
and it's just like, you have one of those moments where you realize how close you were to doing something and then ultimately didn't end up doing it. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. So, and
Yeah.
Dayton, right? Dayton's like right between Columbus and Cincy.
No, so Dayton's like kind of Dayton's like southeast a little bit, but
Okay.
mostly just east.
Uh,
Dayton's had some good bands come out, like Hawthorne Heights.
uh-huh.
They're out of
Yep.
Dayton.
We have
Devil Wears Prada.
we work with a band out of Roswell, New Mexico. Their drummer loves Hawthorne Heights. And actually,
Okay, cool.
my sound engineer Jeff, I think I don't even know. Let me text him really quick because I think Hawthorne Heights was the band that his band opened up for in Roswell.
Okay, cool.
So yes,
Yeah.
yeah, gotcha. No, that's cool. It's really funny because like as I'm doing this more, like the more bands I meet, the smaller the community becomes. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
guys, I know these guys.
Yeah.
So it's very funny. So Hold on a minute. Let me get this text sent out. Oh, but anyways, so no, that's really cool. And like, I mean, it's really amazing to see like that there's a really thriving independent community, especially because it's like a tri-cities thing. You got Columbus, Dayton,
Almost, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so it gives you places, it like almost in that scenario, um, helps breed better talent because it's like, okay, you can do Columbus and then you can do like more shows because you don't have to stay in Columbus. Go to Dayton,
Yeah.
go to Cincy, and then the surrounding.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really, really cool and interesting. Yep. Hawthorne Heights was the band they opened up for.
Nice,
That's,
yeah.
yeah. So I'm sure he's going to call me here in about 5 minutes asking why I asked that random question.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jeff, you need to be watching our podcast. You're my sound engineer.
Yeah.
Why aren't you watching my podcast? So,
Yeah, we're lucky with Columbus where it's like there's Cincinnati, Cleveland, Detroit, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, and even if you want to venture out to Chicago and Grand Rapids, like there's
yeah,
big markets all within like a 6 or 7 hour drive.
yeah,
And Nashville.
yeah.
Yeah.
At Nashville, Knoxville, and I mean, if you want to get
Yeah.
really ballsy, probably Atlanta, right? Atlanta, or is that
Atlanta's like 8 or 9 hours.
okay? You
Yeah.
see, like, I mean, I grew up in Chicago, and so
Mm-hmm.
like growing up in Chicago, like 2 hours was like a really long trip, at least
Yeah.
growing up for me. And then when I moved out to New Mexico, it was like, oh, it's 3 hours to get anywhere and 8 hours if you wanted to like actually go somewhere. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it was like 8 hours ain't nothing to me anymore. Like people ask
Yeah.
me, how can you drive for so long? And it's like, because I have to.
Yeah.
And that's like you'd brought up like all the places that you could like easily travel to for bands, and that it's kind of one of the reasons why I settled on Waco. Well, not settled, chose Waco.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I gotta watch my wording because if somebody heard me say I settled on Waco, they might take that the wrong way.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I chose Waco was because it was like really centrally located, and it's like I can get out to Roswell to do all our live and amplified stuff in 7.5, 8. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Dallas is an hour and a half, Austin's 2 hours. I can get up as far north as probably, let's see, Oklahoma, I can get to pretty quickly, but I don't know how
Yeah.
far up in Oklahoma I can get to, but I can get to like New Orleans in 8, so like there's
Mm-hmm.
just all these places you can get to.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty awesome. I can even get to Nashville in 11.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a fun trip, but I can do
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah, definitely.
but,
What's the stuff that you're doing in New Mexico? So like are you guys doing like sessions and stuff like that? Like
so for the live and amplified, we have a bunch of content that we do. So like the
mm-hmm.
podcast was actually the second thing we started doing. What originally got us kicking off was we would do like like jam style sessions, like live performance videos. Essentially,
Okay,
is
yeah.
what we do, and so it'd be like acoustic singers, band,
Mm-hmm.
so we do that, and we still try and do it as frequently as we can. Just COVID.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I got some friends that'll come through and we'll do like solo acoustic stuff, and it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that. That got started out in New Mexico, and then there was this band by the name of Kira. They're from Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
One day they were like, "Hey, we got a show in Roswell. We'd love to do something with you," because my sound engineer had booked them previously in Roswell because he had owned like a recording studio, and just to kind of
Yeah.
do cool things, he'd throw the occasional show out of his studio.
Mm-hmm.
And they were coming through. They're like, "Well, we could do like a session or something." And they're like, "Well, we're gonna be lucky if we get to the band at load time, let alone early enough to do two unloads.
Yeah.
So can we do something a little bit different?" I'm like, "Well, let's do like a podcast or an interview or something." And and it turned into the podcast. And so now the podcast is kind of our thing, thanks to the COVID. And then also out of all that, launched our radio show,
Yeah.
which is really cool. And we'll have more information on that here soon. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
hopefully if I ever make it down to like the Texas or New Mexico area, I'll have to hit you up to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and like I mean, we try and come to Nashville regularly. Obviously, in this
Yeah.
year, you know, it is what
Yeah.
it is. But we try and come to Nashville once a year, and I do need to go to Chicago and do like more Midwestern stuff because I've kind of
Yeah.
ignored a lot of that. But yeah, we'll definitely hit you up and we'll figure something out.
Yeah, because even Nashville's like 6 hours away from here, so it's
Yeah,
not even that bad of a drive.
yeah, just load up your stuff and
Yeah.
make a day of it. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it is what it is. And I just realized what my cup was.
Oh, the Bears. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, dang it. I think it's time to
Yeah.
retire the Bears Cup. Like,
Yeah.
they're done. But I want to thank you so much for giving us the time to sit down and chat. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
looking
Thank you.
forward to hearing your new song when it drops at the end of the month. If people want to follow you on social media and listen to your music, where's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah. So best place for social media is Rooftops Ohio, or at Rooftops Ohio, or Rooftops on Instagram.
Hmm.
You can like us on Facebook too, or subscribe to YouTube on the YouTube channel. I've been posting like visualizers, but then I'm hoping to the video from in the shower. I'm kind of hoping to start a thing called shower sessions.
Okay.
It's something I thought, okay, so and some explanation that I almost had COVID, so I've been in quarantine for the past week.
Okay.
So all I've been doing is just working on music stuff, and I think I've been going crazy down here. I was like, yeah, I should record myself in the shower.
So is that what sparked what we talked about earlier, where you were doing the preview of your new single on your Instagram? Is that kind of where that all?
Are you talking about like with the close friend story?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I was doing like a preview of the shower session stuff
Okay.
on there, like of the setup and all of that. But so yeah, I've been posting that, but I want to kind of become like more of a thing where either I do more songs, or I would love to. I know a lot of these indie bands will do like acoustic house shows where they'll like travel around the country and play in people's living rooms. If I could set up something like that, but then also play in random people's showers, like just take it, not do the whole show in the shower, but like show up like an hour early and we just shoot a video in their shower. I just think that would be hilarious.
So are you? I have so many questions right now. So are you like actually taking a shower, or are you just
No,
in the shower?
no, I'm just playing in the shower.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that sounds
you
like
never
a
know. Yeah.
OnlyFans career. I don't know.
Yeah.
You might have cornered the market on that one, but
Yeah.
like,
No, all clothes are on,
okay.
unless you pay extra for it. Then maybe we could start taking off some shirts or something.
Well, because I didn't know if it was like one of those things where you had like your phone sitting over here and you can only see from like here up, but you obviously know you're in the shower or whatever because
Yeah,
the was running. But then you run into like, well, how does that sound? Like, does it sound good? You know, but gotcha.
no, yeah, it's just me and an acoustic guitar standing in a shower.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Dom, you got your answer if you're still watching. Dom was he was like, how are you not talking about the shower thing? And I'm like, I'm not pressing it, dude. Like,
yeah.
if it comes back around, I'll press, but it came back around. Here we are.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so on YouTube, I've been posting visualizers for the songs, but then the shower session video, which hopefully will turn into more of those videos. And then you can find our music on all platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, TikTok.
Nice. You got a sync placement on TikTok?
Yeah.
Nice. That's the play. You just got to figure out a song. You got to figure out a song that works on TikTok, and you're golden. Like whether
yeah, like the first one, Falling, like I was like, okay, I could hear this song on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. But So yeah, that's pretty much where you can find us and listen to songs. If you feel so graciously, go pre-save the new song because it really helps us out and with showing Spotify that hey, people are actually interested in listening to the song before it comes out. And
Awesome.
yeah,
I was in the process during this conversation. I've been like halfway trying to pre-save it on my Spotify list, and I'm like, well, I don't want it to be weird if like Spotify pops up and starts playing music.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
no, it's like yeah, you don't even have to do anything with Spotify, which is nice. It's just you go to the link and
yeah,
it's super easy. You just hit one button. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. You know, it's you've got a through DistroKid, they make it like super
Yeah.
simple. So
Yeah.
which you know it's like I saw you had like Amazon on here, and it's like I pay for Amazon Prime. I wonder if Amazon Music is really good. Like what the difference between Spotify and Amazon Music is.
Yeah, I don't know. I've used Spotify forever now, so it's like I'm just used to that.
Gotcha.
But Spotify is the easiest way to like share your music or to get discovered on because like no other platform does any of like the editorial playlist or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So
And people like Spotify is like Kleenex. Like it's not everything is Spotify, or not
yeah.
every digital music platform is Spotify, but you know, it's that
Yeah, I
weird
know what you
thing
mean.
where, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh, Spotify, but they're talking about Deezer or, you know, like
Yeah.
whatever. It's on the verge of that. So,
Mhm.
but anyways, I want to thank you so much for jumping on here. I really appreciate you giving me the time to sit here and chat
Yeah.
and have the random conversation.
Yeah.
But it was good. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody else did. Hopefully, you all come back. And anytime you want to come back on to promote new music, whatever you got, just let me know. You're more than welcome to
Awesome.
come
Yeah.
back. So,
Awesome. Thank you, dude.
yep, absolutely. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will catch you guys later. Cool. We are good.
Sweet.
It was